What up, y'all? I know not everyone feels like listening to a 40+ minute poll plans video for the month, so I broke it up to abbreviate my thoughts in a more easily digestible way. I know half of y'all, though, ain't subscribed, so go ahead and do that. Like the video, leave a comment with what you think about the upcoming content and your plans as well. And if you want to see the whole video, I'll be providing a link to that as well. Check that out for sure. Thanks a million, and now let's get into what you're really here for, alright? Barret and Transcendence 4. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm just going to get out the gate. I love Barret. Barret's probably the most disappointing unit of the month, and I hate to say it. It hurts, man. It hurts. He got a Ferris level rework. His skill 1 now just splashes 80%. That's it. His skill 2 attack didn't change, but the avalanche stacking frame buff did. Barret now provides more attack and Embrave to the party and himself. The buff's got 25% more attack and Embrave to the party and 10% more for himself, so in total he's getting 35% attack and Embrave up from his rework. His LD attack does the FF7 thing where it's a bunch of attacks with refund in the middle. He gets a new stackable frame buff from this LD. At max stacks, it's giving 30% brave damage up and 15%, yep, the 15% I made fun of Rosa for. Barret got it too, 15% HP damage up, damn it. Also at 3 stacks, kind of Emperor Kryl Vaughn style, his Brave will not drop below 10% of his Embrave. He's also given the party 100% crit rate up. Barret also gets a personal Brave damage up 30 and HP damage up 15, so this means he gets 60 Brave damage up and 30 HP damage up in total. On top of all of that, he has 120% attack up on his limit break, so he got a huge stat boost from this LD. He starts the battle with 1 stack of this buff, so you're going to need to use the LD twice to get it to max potential, which is annoying, and it kind of doesn't make any sense. His high armor support and his high armor plus has even caps between Brave and HP. Nothing really notable about his calls either, but his LD call at least gives crit rate up and Brave damage up 20%, so that's decent, but again, I don't know when you really want to bring that, except for maybe Arenea's Orb, maybe. Her Lost Chapter, that is. For banner reruns, his banner reruns when Kayn gets his LD on his Intertwined Wills thing. Now for the analysis. Man, I love Barret, but they did him real dirty here, I'm not gonna lie. He's supposed to be the party buffer that also brings a decent amount of damage, Brave damage. And I used him a bunch in early Chaos-ish, and he was fine there, but his damage was never the best, but I just pumped him with batteries. But now, like, they wanted to lean into the damage, I think, with the LD, but the stack mechanic is so annoying because you don't get to take full advantage of it unless you spam it twice and get it to full capacity the whole battle, and then you need to... His attack buffs are competitive now. Although 15% HP damage up is a meme, 30% Brave damage up, and they couldn't even give him a free skill after LD used to use on a C65 for infinite uptime. They really, I don't know why they did this. Thankfully, because he has such high Brave hits, he has a high ceiling. So if you bump his damage up enough, but he's supposed to be, his auras are so powerful. Like, I think it's in like the 130 range, like competitive with Queen, I think. Don't quote me on the exact numbers though. So he should be able to fulfill that role himself, but he's not doing that much damage on his own, and that's really what he's supposed to lean into, and they didn't really do a good job on that at all, even though they band-aided him with like a bajillion attack up via his rework and his LD. But still, that crit rate is good for people who have crit modifiers. The range damage is good, but it's not really the best. This is, again, he's probably the worst unit this month, gonna be completely honest. Timer plus, he's helping others hit those caps, but there's no way he's hitting those caps on his own. Nuh-uh. Not unless you throw Setzer in the mix, I suppose. And if you're bringing Setzer, we don't even need Barret to make yourself hit harder because Setzer is making you cap with rainbows. Barret isn't even the best pick for his Transcendence where he's featured. Yuffie's a better pick, but down the line, Barret can be good in the range orbs being, what was it? I think it was Kayn's Intertwined Will where he's featured, obviously. And then right after Fran's Intertwined Will, you had to do range damage, or I think it's hit range weakness. I don't remember the exact condition. Otherwise, he's an Orbot that does damage, but he needs a little bit help to do consistent damage on his own, which is not great. I don't think they did a good job here, and I can't really see why anyone would justify pulling for Barret or bringing him anywhere unless they really wanted to. That not dropping below the Brave 4 makes him incredibly safe, but again, you got to spam his LD early on to take advantage of it for the full battle. Because of that Brave 4 and the refunds he gets after his beam follow-up, so he'll actually be at a decent Brave every time on his turns, but it's still not amazing, and you'll still probably want to bring a battery with him or someone to really amp up his own damage. It really doesn't help that the actual Transcendence is arguably, not even arguably, probably 90% sure this is the worst Transcendence to ever exist to date, and I'm recording this right after Transcendence 8 just happened in JP, which wasn't that bad. Transcendence 6 is the only one behind this one, and arguably Transcendence 1 may be in the middle of that, but I don't know. The left orb is to cleanse debuffs, and it asks for a white crystal. They're begging you to bring Yuna. It's the Garnet Flans who summon the ads, and the orb is obnoxious because you want them to hit you so that they can debuff you so you can get rid of the debuff. It's a really annoying cycle. The ads are especially annoying because they have really annoying debuffs, one specifically that prevents your brave gains. It also nerfs your brave damage and increases the amount of brave damage you take. Oh boy, they have annoying group AoE HP attacks as well. Oh, and they blind you also. The main boss inflicts you with regular brave poison and HP poison as well, so you're almost always in danger during this fight. It's horrendous. Being at the whim of the AI to debuff you, but the debuffs are also horrendous, and then you might miss when you do said Esna skill, so they really want you to press Yuna's Esna skill. And the ads are more prone to debuffing than the main bosses, so you don't really want to kill them. You want to have single target focus moves that don't hurt the ads too much, but then the ads also have a tendency to blow you up. It's a really rough juggling game, kind of similar to Arciela and Beatrix's Lost Chapter, where you are at the mercy of the AI. Not to mention the middle boss is tanky. The path of least resistance here is to go Yuna, LD, BT, hopefully, to get the synergy boost, and then you want to go someone with crazy single target damage like Vaughn or Tifa. Mog, Yuffie, Pinello or Sayador even. I think I've seen a Sayador run here. There's plenty of cleanse options. I guess you could run Balthier here too, but this is not a very fun stage in my opinion. The right Crucible is probably the easiest of the three, to the point where I know confirmed runs where people did this without burst. Orb is simple, just do range damage. The issue is that it's +2 and the max is 8, so you gotta do consistent range damage. There's also a mode they go into where they turn blue and you have to crit them on 2 consecutive turns, I believe. I don't know the exact condition, but I know you get, it's something with crits, and they prevent brave gains and their defense spikes, and once you crit them and it goes away, you're fine. These are the Emperor bosses, by the way. And they also inflict a debuff on you that increases HP and brave damage taken. Thankfully, we have a lot of range damage dealers this month, and in general, Cypher is godly here for 1 for the range damage, 2 for the delays, making them get less turns and helping them be more manageable. Trey, Yuffie is actually a goddess here because she throws back the HP damage and brave damage up debuff onto them so you can hit them harder. It's actually a really funny reverse card. They're obviously selling Barret here because you need a red crystal. Barret pumps out a lot of range brave damage. The tricky thing here though, well, not necessarily tricky, but don't bring melee because they have an insta-gib melee counter. So it's actually possible to bring Noctis here, you just don't press his EX, maybe unless it's in BT phase or something. I don't know the exact mechanics. But your team doesn't need to be full range either. You could have one range like Trey and then consistently do the off turn. Trey's a god here, by the way, if I haven't said that enough. Elnarsh is the only fully ranged burst, I believe, so this is a good place to drop him. You could also do 2 ranged party members and 1 magic burst like Toto or Cloud of Darkness or something else like Vaughn. So this is probably the stage where you can get the most creative. Then we get to the middle and everything gets bad again. Oh lord, this stage is horrible. First wave is the Vayne horses, and every time these guys show up, it's bad. Well, Vayne's Lost Chapter thankfully wasn't horrible, but Transcendence, well, not Transcendence, Entropy 12, wow, that was such a long time ago, and now here they are again to be annoying. The orb is to have 12 or more buffs on the party at a time, which isn't quite exactly an orb. Yuna can do this alone with her random generic buffs. You can actually accomplish this via call like Saz or Beatrix or something else, or maybe Hope, if you really need the buff space, but otherwise, it's just the usual toxicity from these guys and that they can just blow you up on a whim. That's why one reason why Setzer is popular here. Also, they get really high defense, and this whole Transcendence, I believe, is 65 turns, which is actually hilariously tight, especially when the bosses are so thick. Again, why Setzer is popular here because of the high defense. You can just rainbow through it. And I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but there's a known run here of Porum, Agrius, and Tifa. No BT at all, but just raw brave gains and just pumping out those numbers. So yeah, these guys are thick. Their all attack is really dangerous. You have Setzer, you wanna try and freeze it at least. Burn each of your freezes on these, otherwise you gotta brace for impact somehow, because getting broken is usually just a death sentence to get against this. Warrior of Light call could help mitigate it, or maybe 9 call with the shields, but it hits hard. Oh, and they have the Alexander mechanic, where if you take too many turns in a row, they turn yellow and they don't take any more damage until you get a turn. So Tidus, not only does he get melee countered on the right side, he's not fun here either because you need to slow down and let them get turns eventually. Now, while it is possible with Tidus, I know it is possible, not advised, probably better off saving him. And the last wave is another deceptively easy orb. It's just, take critical brave damage, +2, max 12. It's a Sanctuary Keeper reskin, which means it has the annoying parts of the heals and the AoEs, and but this one is the worst incantation by far. This stage gets called a Proto-Lucenia Plus for a reason. Brave reduction is high, and they get defense spikes throughout the fight as well. Not only that, but they can delay you. Delay, I think it's a 3-turn delay at some points and a 1-turn delay. So your turns can get all messed up, and if you're not managing the orb right, then that's just a GG. They too have the anti-turn steal thing. So it's after 10 turns again, if you don't let them get a turn, they can turn yellow, and you can't hurt them. So that means GG to the orb as well. Not only do they increase their brave damage reduction at thresholds, but they increase their defense too. So defense ignore stonks through the roof again, or just defense down debuffs in general. The crit orb, well, Barret's LD will guarantee you'll be hitting crits regardless of what they do. They get warrior light shield at some points too. Like every annoying thing is pretty much in this fight. And it's 65 turns, so if you don't go fast enough, like you're really gonna want to bring your top of the line damage. You want to also live because these guys are dangerous too. So all the people who burn Porum in tier 3 might want to consider freeing her up maybe. But yeah, you want to drop their defense down. Like Jack Call, Ferris Call, Yuffie in the party. Not Cypher. Cypher in the party is not a great idea. One, because the damage race requirement, the low turns I should say. Maybe even as a call, if you delay them, then they might turn on the yellow aura. You really don't want that. The combination of needing them to get turns, but also them delaying you, and then they heal you, but they can also blow you up, and you don't want to take too many turns. It makes the stage really just a pain. Let's pull back and go back to who I'm thinking of running. On the left side, Yuna, obviously. Maybe I'll put Agrius alongside her and some crazy damage in the middle, either Vaughn or Tifa, definitely, because I'm really not trying to play around with these stages. They really suck. Right side, acknowledging the melee counter. I want to bring Yuffie there because I didn't bring her, and the throwing back the HP damage up debuff sounds hilarious, and I want to do it. I'll put Barret there because they're asking for him. And I'll put probably Clouded Darkness over there, just because I don't know where else I'd put her BT. And then in the middle, I know a team of Yuna, Barret, and Yuffie is possible because Furion Guy Goosey on YouTube did it. So I might try and replicate that team. Otherwise, if it gets a little too tough, then I'd probably just run Tifa, Yuffie, then Yuna. But yeah, not really. This is not the stage to get queued in, I don't think. I'm just gonna try and steamroll it. As for my polls, I said obviously I'm gonna try and run Barret. So and I implied that I would, but yeah, I want Barret. I didn't get him in JP. I whiffed him too pretty hard, and that was a bad time. I want to make Barret work. I know he really is a mess, but I at least want to try and mix things up a little. I'm gonna fully give him a bunch of good attack up spheres, and I'm gonna blue his armor, and I'm gonna try and represent him where I can. But that's my plan. I don't think it's a great idea for anyone else to do so because Barret really is kind of mid. Transcendence 4 is not fun. Curious to see what cute runs come out of this because it won't be coming from me. Absolutely not. And that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed the clip and found it informative. I do try my best, generally. If you haven't already done so, please like the video, comment what you think and your plans, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more great content. The full video is linked, so check that out as well. Continue showing love. Good luck, everybody. Peace.